Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Dan here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Martial Arts Monday film review. This week we're taking a look at 1973's Blood Brothers, which is known as Dynasty of Blood, which is how you'll find it on IMDb, and also Chinese Vengeance in the UK. And this is what is known as an Iron Triangle film, meaning it was directed by Cheh and it stars T. Long and David Chang. So the three of them together make the Iron Triangle, which is an informal term. And it pretty much guarantees you're going to get a real quality martial arts film that's going to be a real crowd pleaser. And this film certainly fits the bill as far as that goes. This film also stars Kuan Chen, very recognizable actor for Shaw Brothers. He was in such films as The Water Margin and The Boxer from Shantung. Later, he would be in The Man with the Iron Fists. And playing his wife, Mai Lin would be Ching Li. Now, she's no longer with us, but the three male stars are all still with us. They were all born in the 40s, and they're all still with us, so that's a very good thing. And this film is basically really interesting because it's kind of like an historical epic. I don't know if it would really be like a wushu film. It's not like one of these crazy martial arts films that have, quasi-supermen with mystical or magical weapons or dreamy sequences. This is sort of a very grounded historical epic about brotherhood and friendship that is undone by a love triangle, essentially. Elements of the story you've seen before. They're really done well here, however. And really, you don't really, the bad guy, there's no like chief bad guy, really. I mean, our heroes start off as bandits, then they kind of become soldiers. So I guess they transition to the good guys. And out there somewhere are rebel forces, but it's not the kind of movie where you're introduced to like an evil villain that has a plan. This is more like a drama. Almost like Shakespearean in some ways. And essentially in the beginning you have David Chang and Kuan Chen playing bandits. They're hanging out on the road, practicing some martial arts, waiting for someone to ride by that they could rob, and here comes T. Long. Well, they have a little standoff with him, and the film is very kind of grounded, really solid martial arts choreography, but the weapons are essentially spears, swords, long and short, and David Chang has like a 3-section staff, which, one of my favorites. So they kind of get nowhere against T. Long, and then they're about to give up and go their separate ways, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere on horseback comes Kuan Chen's character's wife, Mi Lan, riding a horse, and she takes the money that they've thrown on the ground to fight over, and they rendezvous later, but it's not too long after that before T. Long's character, Ma Xin, shows up, and they kind of have a standoff, but then they kind of join forces, and they kind of create like a gang of bandits, essentially, and they have like almost like a home base up in the hills. They call it like the hilltop base or something like that. And his character, the Tung Li character, is very serious and very good at martial arts, so he starts training these men who join them, and they have some successful missions where I guess they go out and rob people. Especially the Kuan Chen character likes to celebrate with a little drinking. He's very sort of brash, and his wife is kind of, they got married when she was younger, and now she's kind of getting a little tired of him. He goes on some ill-conceived mission to buy her some jewelry in town. Now, they're wanted bandits, okay? So the T. Lung character has to come rescue them. He gets injured, and he comes back and he gives his wife this piece of jewelry, and she's like, did I really want that? Was this all worth that? So she starts to nurse the T. Lung character back to health, and what do you think happens? They start to have feelings for each other. Meanwhile, the T. Lung character his aspirations are set sky high. He's already taken all these exams that you need to take to have some kind of government position. So then he takes another big one and he passes it. So he basically gets an army commission, is the way I read it, and becomes like a commander. He gets promoted several times. They don't see him for a couple years, and then he sends for them, and he's very sort of stoic, almost like standoffish a little bit. Of course, the wife of the one character really wants to see him, but she doesn't really want to show anyone that she wants to see him. All the former bandits now have to put on uniforms, and everything sort of changes a little bit, and eventually, the David Chang character learns about this love affair. And he doesn't. a piece of jewelry is left behind. Now, we've seen that before in many movies, many films that came after this, maybe some that came before this, but it's a plot device that works. So now he's in a dilemma. Who does he tell? What's going to happen? And meanwhile, more and more responsibility has been thrust on this Kuan Tai Chen character, as well as the David Chang character, and the Kuan Tai Chen character's having some problems handling it. And somebody gets set up, and there's some betrayal. And it's a total tragedy at the end. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. It's almost, like I said, Shakespearean, but it's just a well-made, well-acted film. Like I said, the martial arts choreography is very good, a little more grounded and down to earth, but very solid. And, there may be some other familiar faces in there. Apparently, Danny Lee plays one of the rebels in here. But again, they don't really focus on the rebels or the bad guys that often. And if you're wondering, how can these bandits suddenly become the good guys? I almost think of it as like the Old West, where a lot of outlaws just kind of switched sides and became lawmen. I mean, that was just a way to purge their sort of criminal past. And it was just something that happened. And I guess it's historically accurate here too as well. Who cares though? This is a great drama and a great film. So definitely recommend it. Check it out. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen it and what are your thoughts. And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Later.